Good evening, sports fans from all around the world. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, the Breakfast Bankroll. From Cape Cod to Cancun, from Tampa to Taipei, from Vegas to the Vatican, we got you covered from start to finish, overnight, openers, sharps, public, contrarian, you name it, we got it. And we got a big night tonight. And without further ado, my co-host from the Palm Tree State himself, the one, the only Mr. Scott E. Webb. Scotty, my brother, what is happening?
How you doing, Mr. Jeff?
You know, it's a great day in the office, for some high intensity, we got action. You go from a Game 5 winner goes on in the MLB. You got Brady at Philly. You got NHL. You got some college football. I mean, geez, this is action junkie central.
Hey, the only thing we're missing right now is real games in basketball, right?
Yeah, we actually have 4 preseason games.
Yeah, so I think that time is coming where the eyes get a little darker underneath, and the long nights get a little bit longer, and the study work gets a little bit more, and trying to make those deep dives, right? So it's a great day though, right? I mean, you got Game 5 in a baseball series where you got a team that won 107 games against a team that won 106. Those guys are out there doing crazy stuff already. I mean, Urias not starting the game, so that creates a different dynamic to the game. And then you got to kind of look at who this Logan Webb guy is. I mean, I get it. I mean, he's had a great season and all that stuff, but has he ever pitched a big game before? I mean, like anytime ever? Does the sprinkle of magic still ride with what the Giants are doing, or do the Dodgers actually pull one out tonight?
Well, I'm going to put it right up here. I'll set the stage here. Giants minus 113, Dodgers plus 103, and under over a 7 juiced under minus 120. Earlier today, the announcement that Knuble was starting. And then, I think if you go and look at the Giant lineup, the top 3 are righties. Therefore, they're trying to get cute, say, all right, we're going to use the righty versus the righties here. Maybe if San Fran wanted to change it up to move a lefty up there, they'll do that. And then obviously Urias will be pitching the second and how far they get with him. But I'll go further back. We released the Dodgers minus 155 in the series. The thought process was get the split in San Fran. You hand the ball to Max up 2-1. And you hand the ball to Max in Game 3. Assume you're going to be up 2-1. Then you can play your cards a lot different in Game 4 and today. Well, Monday morning quarterback, if you took the Giants plus the 135 in the series, you could literally take the Dodgers plus 103 tonight, and you can walk away either a 3-cent winner or a 32-cent winner. I've said this all along. I do a weekly show with Pops in LA for 6 months. We've been talking about the Dodgers catching the Giants. They've had numerous opportunities. Now we're at Game 5. They had an opportunity in Game 3 of the series to make a statement. Hey, you led us the whole way. We're handing it to Max. From here on out, we'll take the lead and we'll go from there. Now we're in a Game 7. I held on to the 155. If you want my gut, this Giant team reminds me so much of the Red Sox team, and I think they're going to find a way. I'm not hoping that, obviously. I'm sticking to the Dodgers here, but I just smell the magic here. Thoughts today?
This one's kind of a tough one. I mean, I kind of look at it from a perspective that when you handicap a game, you got to look at everything, and it's hard to look at everything. Because the Dodgers just kind of threw some wrinkles in there. So I I don't necessarily like the fact that the Dodgers are going to start with an opener. I kind of think that Knebel is going to go at least one. I think they might try to get two out of Knebel. I'm not so sure that they put Urias in the second, and he might not come in. He might be the third pitcher today. I mean, they haven't said anything, but my thought here is that Urias could go 6, 7, 8 innings if he had to. He's a 20-game winner. I mean, I think he might be the only 20-game winner in baseball.
Yes.
He had a great season. If you remember last year, he was the guy on the mound that came in after an opener in the World Series and was the guy that threw the last out, and he pitched all the way through. So has he pitched in big games? Absolutely. Is he used to the spotlight? Absolutely. So I think the goal is to have him be the guy that carries the torch to the end and get, Knebel up there, have him throw 100 miles an hour and get a couple of outs right away. And then all of a sudden they're in pretty good shape, because if the Giants are in a spot where they got to use Webb, and Webb can only he only goes 5 innings, then they got to mix and match and do whatever they can try to do to get to their closer. And he's an unseasoned, not used to big games guy too. So I think experience-wise, even though the Giants have guys that have been in big games, I mean, Buster Posey's played big games, Crawford's played big games. These guys, the Longoria, they played big games. They haven't played them in a while. And then looking at kind of so just in that retrospect, I like the Dodgers. I like the idea that the Dodgers have people that have been there. They've been there recently. They've got guys that aren't afraid of the spotlight. So then I started looking at a couple other things, and I wanted to see just how much experience the Dodgers have with Logan Webb, because he pitched a little bit last year, and he's pitched quite a bit this year. I mean, he wasn't their main guy at the beginning of the season. I think looking at his numbers here, there's times back in April that he came in and he's a relief pitcher. I mean, he pitched 1 inning in April, so he pitched 5 innings, 1 inning, 4 inning, and he pitched 7, 6, and then 3. So I mean, he started off kind of like, okay, well, let's see what we can do, and what is this guy, and then all of a sudden he got on a bit of a run, and he's been on a run since May. He's been doing well since May. But I started looking at different things. And one of the things I looked at was the Dodgers have faced him 101 times. That's way more than I thought they did. So it's not like he's going to go up there and surprise them with what he's got. The other thing that's interesting is, and we've talked about this all season, a pitcher that pitches well against a team the first time out doesn't necessarily mean that the equation is going to be the same the second time out. And usually it means it's going to be worse the second time out. The question is how much worse? So if Webb is going to throw a worse game this time than he did the last time, then you got to kind of figure how long, where's that going to be? So then I started thinking about where the manager's at, right? Because the managers then have to start making choices and decisions about what do they do with their pitchers. Dave Roberts doesn't have that problem. He's starting a relief pitcher. So now you got an issue with the Giants manager of, okay, well, when do I take Webb out of the game? How long do I let him go? How much trouble do I let him get in? And I think all of that plays to the Dodgers' advantage here. And it's not that the Dodgers have beaten up Webb. I mean, he's got 101 at-bats, 21 hits. Now, out of the 21 hits, 9 of those hits are doubles and 1's a home run. So 10 extra base hits out of the 21 hits. And Justin Turner and Chris Taylor kill him. So, but nobody else is really smashing him around. I mean, he's not totally dominant against these guys. He's got 101 at-bats and 27 strikeouts. So it's not like he's out there, with 40 strikeouts and 100 at-bats or something. And then I thought to myself, okay, well, Knebel, he's been around a little while, but he can't have pitched that much against the Giants. So they haven't seen him too much. And they haven't. They've only faced him 39 times. With Chris Bryant facing him 16 of those 39 times. So nobody else has batted against him more than 6 times. Tommy La Stella's faced him 6 times, and he's kind of roughed up a little bit, so I don't even know if he's going to play tonight. They have 8 total hits, and I just think for what's happening here, I kind of like the Dodgers here. I like the idea that the management of the game has been taken out of the hands of Dave Roberts to a degree. They're starting a guy that's going to pitch 1 or 2 innings, and then they know who's coming in after that. And then you got Logan Webb, who's going to have to pitch a game after a game he's already done so well with. And then you're going to have Kapler, who hasn't managed a big game in his life, have to go and say, well, when do I do this and when do I do that and what do I do? Now, granted, we just talked about it the other day. I think that he's done a great job of making choices and decisions and pushing the right buttons and who comes in and all that stuff. The only other thing that I noticed, when I looked at it, Logan Webb throws 93 miles an hour, 93 and a half, whatever, for the season. The last time he pitched, he threw 92 miles an hour. So he's starting to lose velocity. It's starting to drop. Now, again, that's only 1 mile an hour, but I'm telling you, if you go from 93 to 92 and you go from 92 to 91, it becomes that much more hittable because you do actually see the ball. So I'm looking at it from a way different perspective and a way different level here. And, looking at some of the other numbers, StatCast wise, and some of these other things that I don't 100% agree with, but I use. The xWOBA numbers, so that's the predictive hitting numbers based off of the type of contact that people make and all that kind of stuff. There's 6 guys on the Dodgers lineup that are in the red. Red is good. So, and when you look at the the Giants, they have they got like 4 guys that are in the pink. So they ain't got anybody in the red, and they got 4 guys in the pink. So that tells me that the Dodgers, and they're the right guys. It's Mookie Betts, it's Corey Seager, it's Trey Turner, it's Will Smith, it's Justin Turner. Those guys are all on the top of the lineup. Those are the guys that hit the ball. And those are the guys that do damage. And they're the ones that are showing that they should have a pretty good day. So I'm sitting here going, I kind of like this situation that the Dodgers are in. I like it for the management spot. I like it for the pitching spot. I like it for the batters. The only thing is going to be is that magic pixie dust that the Giants have.
And I agree with what you're saying, okay? But I will also factor in when you're chasing someone all year, and now you face them again in a do-or-die situation, and the Dodgers have had handful of times to pass these guys and weren't able to. And I cannot look past game 3. I know the wind was blowing in 16 miles an hour. Mad Max gave up 1 run, and they still lost that game. The other thing that I'd like to say is with the Dodgers doing this, it's so imperative to get out early. Can you just imagine the front page and social media tomorrow if San Francisco puts up a crooked number in the first inning? You stated when you started, Urias is the only 20-game winner this year in MLB. Old baseball, hand it to your horse, go as long and far as you can, and we got your back. And now with analytics, with all of this, your Rays started this, Oakland A's, whoever you want to blame, and now look. And I'm telling you, if the Giants put up a crooked number in the first, I'm just going to stay off of Twitter tomorrow because it's just going to be, fire Roberts. Imagine that winning 105 games, 6 games, and getting fired. Like the Cardinals coach, amazing September, and he's fired. Just quickly change gears. Houston opened up minus 150 in the series, which I had around 185. Now it's down to 145. They lose McCullers. Opening game tomorrow, which we'll talk about obviously at length tomorrow. Sox announced Sale. He only pitched 1 inning in the series against the Rays, and they're going with Valdez. And that line opened at 145, is already down to 130. Quick initial thoughts of that matchup, and just a couple seconds, minutes on the initial thoughts on that series.
I think it's going to be a blast. I think that's going to be a fun series. And the reason I think it's going to be a fun series, because I think there's going to be some runs scored on both sides. I mean, I think both teams are going to hit the ball. What I really think is impactful is McCullers. McCullers is their number one. He's the guy that has the, I don't know what you want to call it. He's got that it factor. He's got that stuff you want to put me in the spotlight. I'm going to be right there. Look at me shine, and I'm going to go. He's that guy. They don't have nobody else that's that guy. And Boston has Evaldi, and Evaldi has been just a horse, and he's been everything you want him to be in the playoffs. So I actually think that puts a little bit of an edge to Boston with the idea of Evaldi being the ace, and nobody else has one. Now, having said that, this is going to end up being a battle of which offense can outdo the other offense, and or which bullpen can withstand the other guy's offense. So I look at this series as a pick'em series. And I know that sounds a little weird, but the pitching is such an issue now for Houston. And you can still say Valdez is a good pitcher, and you can say Urquidy's a good pitcher, and you can say all you want to about these guys. But those guys are not, running out Max Scherzer and Buehler, and, they're not those guys. So they're very hittable, and the Red Sox can hit. So I also agree that the Red Sox are going to have to try to play some magic here, because you think about what Houck did and you think about what Pivetta did. Are they going to do it again? Are they going to be able to do it against this offense? So I think you're going to have a lot of runs. I think you're going to see an entertaining series, and I think it could go either way. I think Houston should be favored because they're the ones at home, have home field advantage, but I don't think this is I don't think they're a nominal favorite. Let's put it that way.
Is it 2-2? Is it 2-3-2 or is it 2-2-1-1-1?
I don't think it's 1-1-1. I think it's 2-3-2.
Because I know that is usually in the World Series. I don't know about in the divisional.
I'm going to look real fast. If I can pull it up here, get my computer to click the right buttons, or my fingers click the right buttons. How about that? Let's see. Schedule, ALDS. Let's click that and see what happens. Here we go. It looks to me like, here we go. It's going to be Red Sox at Astros for 2, Astros at Red Sox for 3, Red Sox at Astros for 2.
And I hate to say it this way, but that, in my eyes, favors the Astros, because if you get the split, you only need to get one at Fenway. Well, yeah, you need one at Fenway to get it back home.
Yeah, it's you know what's going to be interesting, and I never even thought of this until just on the way home. I was thinking about what am I going to say on the show today. So What if the Dodgers win today? And then now they got to go play the Braves. Do you realize that the Braves are going to be the home field team?
Yep.
A team that won 106 games is not going to have home field advantage over the Braves. And you know what? The way the Braves starting three pitchers are pitching, I think they can match up to anybody. I don't know that I don't know that their offense is as good as what the Dodgers offense is, or their bullpen might not be as good as what the Dodgers bullpen is, but I think that's going to be if that were to be the case, that would be a great series too. I mean, I think the Braves are sitting pretty because they're going to end up with being able to put their three aces, whoever you want to, with Morton and Anderson and whatever the other guys, the left-handed kid.
Freed's been awesome.
Freed, yeah, those guys are like, holy crap. They picked a great time to peak, and they are peaking. So you put those three guys up there, they can pitch and stay in any game. And what'll be interesting then is you're going to end up with a National League series that'll be all about pitching with either the Giants or the Dodgers and the Braves. And then you're going to have an American League team come out of there all about offense. And then you're going to end up going to the World Series, and all you're going to hear about is, well, can this offense beat good pitching and all that stuff? It's going to be great. I mean, it's going to be great.
All right, we're going to skip on over. There's an NFL game tonight. Now, I got here Bucs 6.5 at the Eagles, under over at 52 and a hook. Bucs minus 300 on the money line. Eagles plus 256. Been watching this all day. I got 6.5 at Jazz, at South Point, and then I got 7s at Pinnacle, William Hill, Circus, Caesars, Wynn, Mirage, Golden Nugget, Stations, and back to 6.5 at Heritage. So it's a matter of where you shop. Quite simply, this game kind of sets up for the Eagles in this regard. They haven't tried to establish the run yet, and you can't run against the Bucs. So that's one good spot there. Short week. Brady 0-10 in his last 10 primetime games against the spread, which and I could give a rat's ass if it was 0-100. This game to me sets up two ways. Bucs go in and Brady picks them apart and Hurst can't do anything, or Hurst with his feet plays keep away. I think Devontae Smith could have a huge day with Rager. Goddard, I think, is out. That means Ertz. And the front seven of Philly is putting pressure on Tom and getting him off of his spots. A game where our VIPs, we got it at 7, bought the hooks, we're at 7.5. Sprinkle a little money on the Eagles plus the 256 money line. Listen, we had the Eagles last week against the Panthers. I will be the first one to tell you. You see this? I barely have any hair. I probably lost half of it watching that game. The Eagles defense won that game, not the offense. So Eagles have been so ugly to watch, and it's a game where you can shake your head, wake up tomorrow, and Tom throws for 4 touchdowns, and they win 31-13.
Well, I don't know. Tom Brady is a little banged up, so he hurt his thumb in the last game, and I guess if you know about it, then it's not going to be that big of a surprise, and he's also not going to be that big of an issue. So you almost got to sort of say, okay, let's not even worry about the injury to his thumb. He's going to play well, and he's going to do whatever. I like the fact that they scored 45 points and played well last week. I like the idea. I still don't like what they're doing on defense. I know they gave up 17 points, but they played the Dolphins. And the Dolphins haven't been scoring anybody, and you got Jacoby Brissett back there, and it's the Dolphins. So I sit here and I think to myself, when I put a line together for this game, I think that on a neutral site, I think that the Tampa Bay is -7. On the road, you got to give a little bit of credit of some sort, whether it's 2 points, 3 points, 2.5, 1.5, whatever you want to give them. You got to give the Eagles something to be playing at home. So let's just say it's 2 points. So now you got Tampa Bay -5. In my mind, that's a more realistic number than -6.5, -7. So if I was going to bet it at this point, there's no way in hell you're going to get me to bet it at minus or +6.5. I need the 7, right? So if I was going to do it, and I'm going to guess that's why it's in a lot of places listed at 6.5, so that people buy the hook and do whatever they got to do to get it up there, and then they're just saying, okay, great. If they cover, they cover, but we made you pay extra to get it. We're not paying out as much or whatever it is. And the other I was going to say the other alternative here, and this is what I see a lot, and we can talk about it for a second. There's some teasers out there that a lot of people like to play, and there's only 2 teasers that you need to even think about, and it's either a 6-point teaser or a 6.5-point teaser. Don't play them any more than that because you're paying too much for the juice. It costs too much. So you can only validate a 6-point teaser or a 6.5-point teaser in terms of EV positive numbers, and just math wise, that's the way it works. And you can't do it in terms of you can only play 2 teams. And once you start playing 2, 3, 4 teams, you might as well do goddamn parlays. It pays out better, and it's much better than doing teasers. So what the mistake that a lot of people make is that, okay, here's the Buccaneers, they're -6.5 or even -7, whatever. They're -6.5. So you do a 6-point teaser, so they're -0.5. Now you got to pair that up with something else. So they'll go to the total, and they'll do a total teaser and drop the total and stuff. Okay, so number one, never do a teaser on the total in the NFL. Don't ever do it. Well, don't do it in college football either, for that matter. I mean, do you really realize what you're doing? I mean, it doesn't take much to change a total by 6 points. I mean, it doesn't. So don't do that. The second thing that you don't want to do, and this is the biggest mistake that people make, if you are trying to make a teaser with the Buccaneers, you're looking at the wrong side. The reason that you're looking at the wrong side is because they are an away favorite. Never, ever, ever. It doesn't matter what it is. If they're, you're going to see people tell you, you want to go through 2 key numbers. Okay, that's what you're looking for. So if say they're -8, say they're -8.5. So now you take that 2.5 point or that 6.5 point teaser, you take it down, and now it goes through 7 and it goes through 3. That's perfect. That's exactly what you're looking for, except they're on the road. How many times have you ever seen all these road favorites just win? They don't. The road favorites, no matter who they are, they just don't always win like that. So you're better to take your money and go look at the home dog and add the 6.5 points to it to get that number up. And if you can go through 2 key numbers that way, that's a better play than to have to go the opposite way on the away favorite.
Well, I was going to say, when you talked about the Bucs, a lot of people are going to have Bucs Chiefs this week. 2 road favorites, less than a touchdown, and just win, baby. And when I'm breaking this game down, I see a very important number of 22.5. That is the Eagles team total. Okay, so if you take the initial under over, which I think was
52.5.
52.5. Okay, just basic math. Okay, so they're giving you the 30 to 22. That's where they're giving you to start. Okay, so if the Eagles can get to 23 or 24, the Tampa Bay team total is 30.5. Is 30.5 juiced under. So you keep Tom and the Bucs to 30 or 28, and you can get to that 23 or 24 number, you should be fine. Okay. So again, peeling more layers off versus just waking up and saying, oh, well, it's Tom, it's the Bucs, they're not going to lose. Therefore, as long as they win by 7 or more, I'm happy.
No, I agree with that. I mean, I look at it, I just look at this game and statistically, numbers wise. You can look at it however you want to. My line says 5-5 or 5.5, whatever. The number is 6.5 or 7. You can't. I mean, you could if you wanted to. You can take whatever number you want to bet. But the truth of the matter is, you want to get the best of the number. And if you have to take 6.5, that's not the best of the number. If you can shop your line, and like you said, there's some 7s out there, get your 7, or bet that up to 7.5 and take the hook, whatever you want to do. Because the truth of the matter is that that's the right side. Now, whether it comes in or not, you don't know. But I mean, in terms of the way wagering in the NFL is, the way things are supposed to work, that I think that's the way it is. Now, does your number show you how much percentage cash bets are out there right now on the Bucs? Is it like over 60? 65? 62? Yeah. So if it's 62 and they're not moving the number, that's got to tell you something too, right? So I mean, they like where the money's coming in at, and guess who they'd be betting on at 6.5? They'd be betting on Tampa Bay. I mean, they're betting Tampa Bay like crazy right now. They're going to cover 7. So boom, 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 boom. Right here comes all the money on the 6.5. So it just they're telling you what to do. You just got to follow the storyline and then be okay with it. The only other thing, Jeff, that I was going to tell you is I kind of like South Alabama tonight, and I see that the line just dropped. I think the line was 3.5, and then went down to 3. Now it's 2.5, and I like South Alabama in that Georgia Southern game.
Well, I was just going to bring that up. I have 2 things to talk about. Navy Memphis, that line opened up at 8.5. It's been steamed to 11, 11.5. I even saw a 12 earlier today. So everyone be careful there, especially on a Thursday night short menu. Like we talked about 2 days ago, the whole world on the public darling App State and UL went box to wire. Here again, Navy at 1-4, Memphis at 3-3. Both teams are not where they usually are. A Memphis team that got steamrolled by Tulsa last week. We had Tulsa here. Just be careful. Again, the number opened at 8.5. Vegas knows where that number was going. It wasn't going back to 8, 7.5, 7. So if this game landed on a 10, an 8, a 9, I wouldn't be shocked. And as you were talking, again, yes, South Alabama opened up at 3.5, receiving 71% of the bets. As we were talking, it went to 3. Pinnacle dropped it to 2.5. Westgate to 2. William Hill, Circa, Caesars, all at 2.5 with Heritage. So I was just going to announce that, but you can further up on your South Alabama side.
Yeah, well, the reason I kind of like that is when I did some looking into you remember we talked about University of the Running Rebels or whatever they were, the team that we just bet on the other night, Louisiana Lafayette, the Raging Cajuns. So we bet on those guys, and they kept, like you said, box to wire, no issues, whatever, right? So I brought up again EPA. So looking at EPA numbers again in this particular game, and this is great because in college football it means a lot more. It's not that it doesn't mean anything in the NFL, but it means a lot in college football. So South Alabama offensively is number 39 in the country, and defensively number 35 in the country. That's pretty good for that. Not necessarily for that team, but for that conference. And that ranks them 26th in the entire country. They're playing Georgia Southern, who is 91st in offense and 55th in defense. They rank 83rd in the country. And if you're going to tell me that a team that is rated 26th versus a team that's rated 83rd is only 2 points difference, I'll take that every day. I like, and here's what I think is going on in that game. I don't think people know who South Alabama is. And I don't think they understand. And this is a home game. This is a game that they should do okay. Georgia Southern, they've heard of before. And I think that's kind of where that number ends up being. Now, kind of surprised that I guess the numbers going the other way. But I mean, I'm showing numbers that say 65% of the tickets are on South Alabama, 54% of the cash is on South Alabama, but the number's dropping and it continues to drop. It's now 53% of the cash on them. So I just look at it from a level that, you know what, at some point you have to start looking at this and you have to make sense out of it. And I get it. You know, I'm not using trends. I'm not using all that hokey pokey stuff. I really want to understand, you know, if you're looking at the yards per point and stuff like that, that's where kind of EPA comes into play a little bit. And that's the value piece of what they're doing. And I like it. I like it to the point where I think they're going to cover that 2.5. It might even go to 2 by the time this game goes off.
It's 2 at Westgate right now. And I'll tell you this, kind of, it's a double-edged sword. So for us here, you know, following Don Best, following Sports Insights, using Wager Talk, you talked about pregame to me off the air last night. When it's getting close to kickoff, you know, a lot of people have been working 9 to 5, 9 to 6. They just grabbed their dinner and now they're looking for some action. And lots of times they put up what I call as a false move. They put up, hey, the game got stale. We need to get some action on this game. How's the best we do it? Well, we'll drop the line to 2.5 or 2. And people, some of the, I don't want to say public or degens, maybe some of more of the sharper guys are going to say, hey, I didn't have time to follow this all day or all week, but I do see which way it's moving. Therefore, they're going to, quote unquote, follow the money. So they see the line moving in that direction. Therefore, they're jumping on Georgia Southern right now because of this move an hour before kickoff.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I'm glad you made that point, because if you don't believe that the sports books are trying to win, then you've lost your mind. I mean, they're out there trying to throw curveballs at the bettors and bait you into different things as well. And some of this stuff is a line move based on absolutely 100% nothing. So I'm 100% glad you said that, because I don't know that people prepared for that. And then when it happens, how do you react to it? What do you do with it? It's just interesting to see, and this is a perfect game for that, right? I mean, you know, maybe they're trying to get a little balance to maybe they're trying to get a little bit of balance to what's going on with maybe the baseball game, or you know, maybe they got a whole bunch of money and they've got different things that they're trying to work out when it comes to like we said, teasers and trying to do different things and all of that stuff. So I think that you're absolutely 100% right on that. And I think that that's something that people should really look out for. So I'm glad you said that. I mean, that's great. Hey, we got a comment there from Billy. So that's awesome.
Hey, my man, Billy, Bama Billy, hoping for a nice bounce back from our guy here in Alabama. Glad that you're listening, my brother. I didn't get to talk to you today. Give the wife a big hug for us. Yeah, but that's what happens a lot. Now again, you got a game 5 at 9 o'clock. You got the Bucs at 8:20. You got some NHL day 3 and a couple NBA preseason games. Hey guys, we got a football game here, college, that means something, that's kicking off at 7:30. Let's move this line a half. And let's see if we can stir up a little action before kickoff. That's all.
Nope, I agree with it. I think that may be what happened there. I mean, I think, you know, we talked about that Memphis game, and you know, if you like the Memphis side, you're too late. You don't want to be on it anymore. You know, you can watch the game and have fun with it and do whatever and say, oh shucks, or whatever. But if you want to be on that side of the game, you've missed your window. So it's okay to follow steam, but it's not okay to follow steam past certain key numbers. And that number is already up, 3 points. I wouldn't be going anywhere past that anymore. And you know, plus, you know, Navy's an option team, so that's always crazy. And Memphis never plays good defense, so that's one of those things that. And Navy's not very good this year. But if you sit there and run an option offense and you don't prepare for the option offense very well, this is a short week for Memphis to have to prepare for that. So there's a lot of things that can happen here. And I'm not saying that they won't cover the 11. I'm just saying that I don't think that this is the right time to jump in there on that game. And I just saw the Bucs number went back up to 7 where I'm looking. So, that 6.5 number is something they just said, oh, I don't want to do that no more. Let's put it back to 7.
And that's been going back and forth. I had a show earlier today, and I've been looking at this all day and night, and it's 7 even, which means if you're paying for the Eagles plus the 7, you're paying an extra price on that as well. I mean, I probably would guess they would be okay with a 30-23 game and just get out of Dodge. If you got 6.5, God bless you. If you got 7, hey, thanks for watching. And if you bought the extra hook and got 7.5, well, as you said, you paid for it, but go cash that ticket.
Yeah, I mean, it's this is what makes it fun, right? I mean, this is how you do it. And you sit there and you go, well, there's this game and there's that game and there's this game and there's that game. And then what I try to do is I try to look at what I do with numbers and data and all that stuff, but then support my theory or support my game idea with what the move of the line's doing. Because in baseball, I don't worry about it as much, but in football, it's important. You have to know what's going on because it happens in baseball all the time too. It's just baseball is a different sport. So if you're that game can be single-handedly won by a pitcher. So if it don't matter what the sports book does or what bait they put out there, if you're on the right pitcher in a baseball game, you're gonna blow away whatever is out there in terms of numbers. And you don't have to worry about where the money moves and all that. That's why a lot of times when I do baseball games, and you've seen it, I do it at 4:00 in the morning, and try to put out numbers by 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. So that way, whoever wants to follow the plays or do whatever, they get the best of the number usually, because the numbers change. And if it's a small favorite, then hell, it might be a mid-size favorite by the time the game goes off. But the point of it is, football doesn't work that way. Football is about covering a spread, and that spread is what evens the game. And, we can sit here and talk about the spread and whether it matters all we want to. Not every game falls within the spread, and probably only, I would say 30% of them, the spread even matters. So if you start to really think about it, break the games down by, okay, who's going to win the game? How are they going to win the game? And then what elements have to happen for them to actually lose the game? And then start looking at where the money's at and what the money's doing, because the first thing you got to really learn is sportsbook want to be on the side of the smart money, and they won't necessarily know where the smart money is until the money starts coming in. But when you talk about it, that money comes out on Sunday night. I mean, they get that Sunday night, Monday number we don't get to see, and then the smart money comes in and they adjust it, and then maybe more smart money comes in. So we don't get the best of the number right away anyway. But if it opened at 6.5, it's only 7 now. That's not much change.
No, not at all. And everyone here, thank you. We're trying to, broaden our horizons here. We have a couple-week window where we're doing some night shows. As this progresses, we're trying to do a morning, afternoon, and a closing bell show. So you could actually see Scotty a handful of times in the morning, and then actually, back at night, or vice versa, and so on and so forth. Tomorrow, 4 college games. You got a Clemson out there, a nice game with San Diego State, San Jose State, California, Oregon. We will be talking. We'll be talking, obviously, Red Sox, Houston. And it's funny, I just got a text from my man, Billy. And I was just going to say The numbers are saying this, okay, guys? So whoever's watching this that's looking for a little pizza and beer money and a little action tonight, the Seattle Kraken, yep, I'm saying it. Numbers telling us they get their first win tonight. They had a tough game against Vegas 2 days ago, and now they go to Nashville. They opened up plus 120. And they've creeped down to 115. They're actually 105 at Caesars. So, Billy, I'm going to give you some props here because you beat me to the punch. The Kraken could get cracking in their first win of the season. But been an amazing show. We covered a lot of ground. We're just cracking the surface here. It's great to have a live show when these numbers are moving. And is it false? Is it a follow the money? Or we'll know tomorrow if it was a real move. I don't think it is. Wink, wink. I think they were just trying to stoke the fire and try to get a little action going into the 7:30 college game. So for myself, Scotty, you can all follow us at EC Sports Invest and at Webby20 MLB, right? On Twitter. Geez, getting old here, and I still remembered that. Always remember this. If you're wagering and investing tonight, wager with your head, not your heart. If you got a problem, pick up that phone. There's an 800 number. Plenty of people out there willing to help. Why? Because we care. And cash some tickets. Enjoy the college football. Enjoy Tom at Philadelphia. Enjoy Game 5, Dodgers and San Fran. And myself and Scotty will see you tomorrow night.